So let's get right down to it. This Kia Sorento that I am driving costs nearly $40,000. 40 grand for a Kia. So is there any way that this Kia can actually be worth its price tag? The answer might surprise you. I'm your host, Alex LaFreese. Welcome to the Open Road. I'm driving the SX V6, which is the top-of-the-line Sorento. Got all the bells and whistles, including the good wheels, accents along the front grille, that little spoiler on the back that probably does absolutely nothing, and the big engine. The power plant is an all-new 3.3-liter V6, putting out 290 horsepower through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Our tester comes with all-wheel drive and even has torque vectoring. A front-wheel drive version is optional if you so choose. Perhaps my favorite feature on the Sorento is the variable steering. This is an electronically controlled unit, and you can actually choose whether you want the steering to be in normal, comfort, or sport. Sport, which is where I've left it most of the time, gives you the firmest, most precise feeling steering. Normal, somewhere in the middle. And comfort gives you lighter steering. And this is wonderful because ultimately this is going to be a family rig. And that way, if Dad wants a little sportier, heavier steering when he's got to drive, he can have it. And when Mom goes to drive, maybe she wants lighter steering. So it's a great way to take advantage of these electronic steering units. If they aren't going to feel as good as the hydraulic ones, you might as well get some options for how firm or how loose you want your steering to be. So, I love it. The interior on the Sorento might be its best feature. Let's start with the panoramic sunroof, which is perhaps the biggest one that I've ever seen. It allows so much light into the cabin, makes it such a nice place to be. I think every SUV needs a panoramic roof just as standard because they are awesome. And it's no surprise that more and more cars in the industry are heading in this direction because they frickin' rock. The Sorento has received some minor external styling touches for 2014, and personally, I think this is a pretty darn good-looking rig. I like this red. I love the grille. The wheels, I could take them or leave them, but it's a small concession for an otherwise great-looking car. The instrument cluster is completely digital in the middle, so your speedometer and information screen are completely digital, and it can trip you out for a second. When you click the gears over to shift manually, it actually changes the design of the numbers on the speedometer, which will freak you out the first time you did it. Thankfully, though, the tachometer and temperature and fuel gauges on the sides are still analog. Overall, it's very smartly laid out. I like it a lot. And the rest of the cabin is really quite a nice place to be. This is still an entry-level brand, just like Hyundai, even though people might try and tell you it's not. It is. So, you know, you do have some kind of cheap-feeling leather slash faux leather, and the buttons still on the dash still feel a little cheap and some things like that. But overall, it is a very, very nice place to be and pretty darn roomy. The infotainment system in the Sorento features just about everything you could want, including satellite radio, navigation, and a system called UVO. Backseat room is pretty comparable with everything else in this class, sort of B9 Tribeca territory. The third row seating really isn't bad either. Obviously, you're only going to use that seating if you get into a pinch, but it actually is usable. I'm not going to crawl back there because I don't want to, but take my word for it. Moving on to the trunk, there is a fair amount of space when you have the third row seats folded down. When you have them up, obviously your cargo space is going to be virtually nil, but it's going to be that way in any car this size. I think the Sorento is the sort of the smallest SUV that I would buy. I'm not a huge crossover guy because I just don't think there's enough cargo room to justify the trade-offs. But in this, you're actually getting to where you can fit some real stuff in there, and you're getting some third row seating. So finally, should you actually buy the Sorento? For me, it depends. If you are somebody who very much values features, the Sorento is going to be a great option because it's got just about every feature you could possibly want. From the heated and air-conditioned seats, to the panoramic roof, to the wheels, it's pretty much got it all. But it doesn't wrap it up in a very elegant package. It's not bad, but it's not great. In my opinion, it's not as good as what you're going to get from Toyota or Honda. But for the same money, you're going to get more features. So you just have to really decide what you want. If features are important, the Sorento is going to be a really, really great way to go. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and find us on Facebook and YouTube under Open Road Channel. I'm your host, Alex LaFreese. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on the Open Road.